It's Avengers Day, the day where everybody celebrates how amazing we are.
I can't wait to show off our cool new invention.
Yes, we are so popular, there's nothing we could possibly do that could ruin our amazing reputation. I could have swore we've done this before. If I were to summarize Marvel's Avengers in one word, it would be conflicted. Marvel's Avengers is a third-person, narrative-focused action game developed by Crystal Dynamics. However, it's also a Destiny-style multiplayer live service game. Whew. Damn, those are a lot of words. Avengers feels like a constant battle between these two types of games, which causes a total identity crisis. Marvel's Avengers starts with its best foot forward, putting forth an outstanding first impression, but it can't keep it up by the end. The intro has the players step into the shoes of the young Kamala Khan celebrating the Avengers on Avengers Day, their very own holiday, and it's a surprisingly heartwarming experience. Kamala Khan is such a lovable character, and the presentation is astounding. It's clear they threw a lot of money into this game. It's hard not to smile seeing Kamala geek out over the Avengers like any mega nerd would. Her wide-eyed enthusiasm gets interrupted when a large-scale assault takes place at the event, kicking off her origin story as she transforms into Miss Marvel as well as an Avenger herself. And maybe someday we'll see her join the Sense of Right Alliance. The game introduces itself as the Miss Marvel game, which was a pleasant surprise. She's easily the best and most refreshing character out of all the Avengers here. The problems start coming in when the rest of the Avengers start showing up, and the campaign shows its true colors as just a lengthy tutorial for the multiplayer. The missions become less narrative focused and more filler content. For the most part, I'd say the story is good, with gripping performances from Troy Baker's Hulk and Sandra Saad's Miss Marvel, but the plot loses its steam fast. It's like the developers wanted to make a personal origin story for Miss Marvel, but kept getting pulled away by the publishers to make the game into a greedy online service to bank off the Avengers license. Plot holes begin to pop up all over the place, as if the writing became less and less important over time. Side note, the subtitles are really bad too. They don't just tell you what the character's saying, but they describe everything that's happening on screen as if the person using the subtitles is blind. Like, I think they forgot what subtitles are used for. It makes no sense. If you can read the subtitles, you can see what's happening on screen. Anyway, even with a good first impression, knowing that this is a live service game convinced me that this game was not going to have a satisfying ending. The finale ends with an impactful character moment that's completely neutered once you think about it for more than 2 seconds. And you realize nothing changed, and the massive stakes that they've raised are just assumed to be resolved, but aren't actually shown being resolved. The story feels rushed, and there's so much left unanswered. I guess you gotta keep playing the online to find out what happens, because that's exactly what I want to hear. An Avengers game had so much potential, and yet it's squandered because the game is pulling itself away from everything that makes it good. This game does not want to tell you a compelling Avengers story. All it wants is your money. The multiplayer aspect of this game is Destiny to a T. You have your hub area full of vendors selling gear and cosmetics, as well as faction leaders who give you random challenges to complete for more gear and resources. The war table takes you to different places on Earth to complete missions with repetitive objectives and environments. So many levels take place in the same aim labs, I could not take it. All it is an endless grind that you can accelerate with real money so you can get that Iron Man skin you really wanted, so you can then stop playing the game because you got the reward you wanted and there's no more rewards left worth getting, so why are you playing? The gameplay loop is all about constantly raising your gear score so you have the biggest numbers. It's always about the big numbers. This kind of game may be appealing to some, but it's such a repetitive slog to me. Then there's the Battle Pass, which makes the bad decision of only progressing through daily and weekly challenges. Completing these time challenges is the only way to unlock special gear from the Battle Pass, which means you are limited in how far you can progress in one day since you have to wait for the challenges to refresh. It also puts you in positions where you could be in the middle of a daily challenge and then, stop playing and live your life just to come back the next day and lose all that progress you did in the challenge. All this does is artificially lengthen the grind needed to unlock the things you want. And maybe this grind wouldn't be so bad if the gameplay was enjoyable like Destiny. The game plays like a 3D beat 'em up. You can play as Miss Marvel, Black Widow, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Hulk, each with their own skill tree to climb. Because of course there's a skill tree. Skill trees are so common nowadays that I'm afraid to open my fridge and be told that I need 3 skill points to gain access to my grapes. This game's skill tree is overblown and full of actions that you shouldn't have to grind away at to unlock. These moves should be with you from the start, but the game needed a skill tree, so here it is. The action beat 'em up side to the gameplay is okay at best and frustrating at worst. It doesn't have the impact you'd want when playing as a mighty superhero. Each enemy has an unnecessarily long health bar that makes each battle feel way too button mashy. This doesn't empower you the way it should, especially when every character plays identical to each other. Every character has to have their projectile, their defensive button, their charge attack, and so on. This means none of the characters feel unique, even though anybody who knows these characters would tell you that their powers are wildly different. With a game like Marvel's Spider-Man, it's exclusively built around Spider-Man, meaning you really feel like Spider-Man. No more jokes about the feeling part, I promise. So when you have a game with 6 different superheroes and more on the way, none of them really feel special. I guess those PS3 games were onto something. Miss Marvel, Captain America, and Thor are the best characters to play as, where Hulk, Black Widow, and Iron Man are pretty lame. And God, it's so depressing. When are we gonna get a good Hulk game again? Watching a regular human being be able to block Hulk's punches, or even be able to take a right hook from him and get up like nothing happened, makes the Incredible Hulk feel incredibly weak. He doesn't really have anything that makes him stand out from the rest. Like, imagine this, a punch from Hulk is just as powerful as a punch from Black Widow. Speaking of Black Widow, her pistols don't feel nearly as powerful as they should. They're pistols. You thought seeing somebody get punched by Hulk was bad? This dude's getting shot in the face and he's fine. And she's treated like a beefed up superhero when she's only a human. It all adds up to a superhero game that truly makes you feel like none of these heroes. The character that suits this gameplay the best is Miss Marvel, which is another reason why this game should be the Miss Marvel game that I'm sure the creators were trying to make. Now, all of this has been under the assumption that the game is working, too. Because the further you get into the game, the buggier it gets. It's clear that the game was rushed to market because bugs come up left and right. A hit doesn't register as a hit. Enemies get locked behind doors, blocking progression, and visual bugs are everywhere. And on the base PS4, the frame rate can take massive hits. Jarvis, can you fix the game, please?
No, sir.
The intel screen is completely busted and doesn't even let you know what intel you have and have not read. Sometimes you can pick up an intel item and it won't even register that you picked it up. Not just that, but navigating the menus to find said intel is atrocious. The menus are really bad. This game is like the anti-Last of Us Part 2. It's a game that gets worse the more you play it. Its shining moments, no matter how bright, still can't shine through the rest of the bullcrap that's covering it. When the game's trying to be Destiny, it's crap. But when the game's trying to be a narrative-focused action game, it's good. Flawed, but good. The worst part about Marvel's Avengers, though, is that this game could have been truly something special. But endgame, this is not. It's more like Iron Man 2. Bad. But, you know, they got Iron Man in it still, so it's not all bad.